been an outstanding kicker. Malcolm Gilly deep for Ball State. Toe meets leather, and we are finally underway here in Miami Gardens. Gilly will let it sail over his head for the touchback. And an opportunity to see Caden Simonza, who was a redshirt freshman. Mark, he started 3 games last year, but then didn't give up his redshirt. Now he's the man in Muncie.
Yeah, Mike New had a conversation with him after those 3 games, and it was an up and down start to his season last year. And he said, look, we got a lot of big games coming up. We want to preserve this guy's his mental capacity and not have him get too much in his head. So they decided to redshirt him. He came back out this year, had a phenomenal first game with 5 total touchdowns.
2 backs flanking Simonza. It's Pemberton Spiegel with the tight end in motion. The give is to Vaughn Pemberton. He's not going to go anywhere. Wesley Besaint and company putting the stop on him in a hurry.
These guys have been waiting in the locker room for 2 hours, just waiting to play. And you see the emotion from Wesley Besaint, and you expect early on there to be some guys fired up, right? It's raining out. It's a fun environment to play in. They're playing for these fans who have stayed through this rain delay. Good first play for Miami.
Simonza to throw. Gets it to Braden Sloan. Is back out of the backfield. He's going to pick up a first down and a lot more. Finally pushed out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. It was Kiko Maui Noah, but 20 yards downfield, Mark.
Yeah, Braden Sloan started directly behind the quarterback, and the linebackers who were mugged up just weren't able to track him through it. Miami's going to spend a lot of time with their defensive backers and safeties up in the line of scrimmage, showing pressure and relying on man-to-man coverage on the outside. That could be one way Ball State has an answer for that look from Miami.
Again, Sloan in the backfield. The speedster can't pick it in motion now at the bottom of your screen. Simonza to throw. Looks for Pickett over the middle, hits him. Tracked down by that Miami defense, though maybe gets a yard. Those linebackers again, Besaint and Maui Noah.
Well, we mentioned Besaint earlier, and he had his first career interception last week, but both him and Maui Noah, they're really good at tracking ball carriers. They're good at taking angles of the football and vice tackling. Another good play about that second level.
2nd down and 9. Simonza to throw quickly. Has a receiver who was in motion on the play and picking up about a yard, 5 yards rather, before Wesley Besaint was able to bring him down as Justin Bowick. Check that was Pickett on the catch. Third down and 7.
Miami has those backers walked up in the line again.
Now a whistle and a timeout for Miami.
Timeout,
and a flag.
Miami, that's the first charge timeout of the half.
Maybe not. The official on the far side dropped his flag, but he picked it right back up. Miami with the timeout. Still scoreless here early. back at a rainy Hard Rock Stadium. If you're just joining us and expected this game to be somewhere in the third quarter, we had our 2.5-hour rain delay, weather delay, and we're just getting started. First drive of the game for Ball State, 3rd and 3. Last week in their win over Missouri State, a lot of success on third down, 12 of 19. This is a different kettle of fish, though, going against this defense. Simonza to throw. Miami brings just 3, and they still get pressure, and they bring them down. Tyler Barron and Simeon Barrow combining on the sack. Barron came into this game with 4 on the season, 2nd in the country.
And watch here. Receiver just falls down the slick field.
Number 5.
All this rain that they've had.
Number 5, Miami is 35.
And that's why the defensive line was able to get there.
And that's the key, isn't it, Mark? To get pressure on the quarterback with just your down lineman, isn't it? If you can do that, it opens everything up.
Yeah, they were able to double team all those routes, dropping a nice zone.
This play is blown dead before it even got started.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 4, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Jordan Coleman, the guilty party. So Brian Cooey, first-year punter after he transferred in from Charleston Southern. He's probably used to this weather then, coming from Charleston. It's a lot more like Charleston than it is like Muncie. It is hot and humid. Ray Joseph back to return this punt, standing with his heels on his own 15. Cooey, a low liner. Joseph came up to return it. Instead, he backs away.
Oh, that got close to touching the foot of the Miami player. Oh, but they say it did not.
Too close for comfort on that punt return.
Let's check this out. They'll give him the Peter call. Stay. Oh, that's.
Yeah, he didn't peter. He almost petered out. Cam Ward takes the field. He was really the #1 quarterback in the transfer portal in the offseason, Mark. In Miami, they pursued him. It wasn't easy, but Coach Cristobal finally got their man.
Yeah, they said once he got here, though, he has been the absolute best leader, best player, best teammate.
Ward to throw on first down. Xavier Restrepo. They want to get him the ball in space. And he picks up about 6 or 7 on first down.
Think about Xavier Restrepo. Think about what it would feel like, right? You're going into the offseason, your quarterback leaves for Wisconsin, and then, oh yeah, you get Cam Ward to come in and throw you the football. And Xavier Restrepo has been absolutely phenomenal for this Miami team for a very long time. 8 100-yard receiving games, tied Andre Johnson for the most since 2000.
Picked up 5 yards before stepping out of bounds. Martinez, nowhere to go. It gets pushed back. As a matter of fact, he's going to lose a yard. Good push by that Ball State defense, and Brandon Berger on the stop from his linebacker position.
Yeah, he just pulled the right guard around, and a really good job of winning the one-on-one battle. Tight end, linebacker won that one.
3rd down and 6. Ward to throw. Steps up in the pocket, has time, now has a receiver. It's Jacoby George, and almost slipped that tackle. That would have been a huge gain, but as it is, it'll move the sticks.
Yeah, great job. And the minute he got open, Cam Ward released that football, and they're going to get to the line quickly.
The tempo from Miami. Ward to throw again. To George again. To midfield. Before brought down by D.D. Snyder, 19 yards, and into Ball State territory.
And we talk about his IQ. He understood the coverage. He understood, hey, it's cover 2. We're going to have a guy out in the flat. We can hit that go route before the safety gets there. We got a big play. Great delivery of the football.
Just as a few rays of sunshine make their way into Hard Rock Stadium. Very welcome sight. Now Restrepo in motion. Quickly out to Sammy Brown, making a couple of moves. A lot of moves for 3 yards. Brown, the transfer from Houston. We talk a lot about transfers in this game for Miami in particular, and a lot of high-impact guys, and Sam Brown clearly is one of them. Last 2 years at Houston, 103 catches, almost 1,300 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, not bad. And you know, you join him with Jacoby George and Xavier Restrepo. Pretty good combo.
Flags down. This will be a free play for Ward. Will he take advantage? He wants to go for all the marbles to the end zone, but Brown was well covered by Ty Baldwin.
Offside. Defense, number 47. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Big nose tackle Drew Hughes, just a little over anxious.
Yeah, see, he jumped, and talk about football IQ. This entire offense knows if you get that and you see that, all the wide receivers are looking in. You see that, you got automatic go routes. Just weren't able to connect, but heads up, smart play by Miami's offense.
They give to Lyle. He's looking for some space. Finds his way to enough room for a first down. D.D. Snyder and a host of others on the tackle. And Jordan Lyle, the freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas. You know, Coach Cristobal said he's as good a looking freshman back as he's had as a coach, and that's saying something.
Yeah, I mean, that's saying something. And yeah, they're excited to get him some carries early. Obviously, he's going to split time with Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher, both good backs.
You got Lyle and now Chris Johnson Jr., redshirt freshman, also from Fort Lauderdale in the game. That's Johnson in motion. Ward to throw. Has his tight end over the middle. Inside the 15, down to the 12. Riley Williams making just his second catch of the year, but it's good for 24 yards, and the Canes are in business.
Yeah, he had a big 27-yarder last week. And just a seam route, and good job of Cam Ward finding his guys like he does. I mean, there are very few times where you watch the film of Cam Ward and there's a wide open receiver that he doesn't find.
Ward for 5 for 5 on this drive, 8th play for the Canes. You give to Martinez. Looking for any type of a seam and doesn't get one, but the pile moves forward for a couple.
We see a good job last week by this Ball State defense, only allowing 62 rushing yards. They're doing a good show so far, stopping Miami's rushing attack, especially up the middle.
Ward to throw. Looking to the end zone, now being flushed out of the pocket. Just has to throw this one away as pressure is being put on by middle linebacker Joey Stemler.
Yeah, Stemler started 4 games last year for this team. Kind of a first guy in the middle. Good closing. It was great coverage on the back end. Defensive backfield for Ball State plastered the wide receivers. There was nowhere for Cam Ward to go with the football.
This drive started on Miami's own 17. Converted on 1 3rd down. They'll get another opportunity here.
And I would be looking in the slot, number 7, Xavier Restrepo. He's my release valve when things get pressured.
Ward to throw. He looks his way. Instead, he goes to the far outside. Incomplete. Jacoby George had it. Wasn't able to squeeze it, though. It'll bring up 4th down, and Borregales will come in to try the kick.
Well, that is a win for Jeff Knowles, the defensive coordinator of this Ball State team. Miami did a good job of driving down the field, but bowing up down inside the 20-yard line, forcing Miami to kick field goals. That's how they're going to have a chance in this ball game, keeping Cam Ward and this offense out of the end zone.
30-yard attempt for Andres Borregales. Good snap, good hold. And the kick is good. So Miami takes their first offensive drive of the afternoon, marches downfield, can't get 6, but they'll take 3 in the lead. Miami marches down the field, gets a field goal from Andres Borregales, 30 yards, capping off an 11-play, 71-yard drive that took about 5 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock. Seeing some sunshine coming into the stadium here. That's great news. We were delayed by 2.5 hours because of lightning in the area. Very common in September here in South Florida to have those pop-up storms. Hopefully they have gone away for the rest of the day. Malcolm Gilly once again back to receive this Borregales kick. Gilly's going to give it a shot. 15. Only makes it out to about the 16 before he's brought down. Let's check in with the third member of our crew. It's Coley Harvey down on the field.
Hey guys, here in Miami, the message all year has been about culture. What is the culture now? Head coach Mario Cristobal, well, his mission the past 3 seasons has been to reestablish the identity that helped make Miami so dominant back in the day. Apparently it's working. Senior receiver Xavier Restrepo, well, he told me the culture now around this team is to be self-motivated, to not talk back, and to be willing to learn. And Cristobal says lately several prominent former Canes like Ray Lewis and Michael Irvin, they've been helping reinforce that.
Samanza rolls the pocket on first down, has a receiver, but he can't get much out of it as he steps out of bounds. And that was Keon Magwood.
But I think, you know, when you kind of think of that with that culture, those are kind of basics, right? Like, be unselfish, be willing to learn. Like, I think that bringing the basics back, that's what Mario Cristobal is about. And in talking to him, he was like, look, I came back. I was winning Pac-12 championships. I came back because I was disgusted by the way Miami was doing things. And he's back changing the culture.
Kyle Kelly takes the snap. And they tried the end around, and that Miami defense didn't want any part of it. Tyler Barron continues his impressive play.
See Tyler Barron on the right side of your screen just squeezes down off the tackle like you're supposed to and has his eyes exactly where they're supposed to be. Tyler Barron's a guy that on 3rd and long, you better know where number 9 is. He had a 3-sack performance last week. 4 total sacks on the season. He eats when it's 3rd and long.
Like it is right here.
Here's on the left side of the screen, 3-point stance.
Samanza to throw, bringing pressure as the screen. That's Sloan. Perfect call for that type of situation. Sloan picks up what he can, but it won't be enough for the first down. The same Deani Hill tracked him down. Good yardage on 3rd down. It was just a bridge too far, Mark.
You know, it was. And again, a good job. Another successful screen route to the outside to your running back. Just really a little swing route. That's twice so far in this game that has been effective. Miami's defense did a good job of stopping him before the first down marker.
So for the second time this afternoon, Brian Cooey will step in. And Ray Joseph will plant himself at the 35. Cooey with an end-over-end punt. Joseph again is going to have to let it bounce, and it bounces out of bounds at the 39. Miami will take over there. We'll get a chance to see Cam once again. Up 3-0. Tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern on the ACC Network, Virginia hosting Maryland. Very interesting ACC Big Ten matchup. You can find live sports with Where to Watch only on the ESPN app and ESPN.com. It's your ultimate viewing guide. Anthony Calandria took time out from touring with NSYNC to have a really good game last week. Look at those numbers.
Look at those. Look at that hair, right?
Yep.
Oh man, no, great job. And what are we seeing across the ACC? If you have a quarterback that can produce yardage through the air and can score touchdowns, you have a real chance of winning a lot of games.
Well, this team has one here in Miami. Brown slipped after catching the pass from Cam Ward. And you know, interestingly, on Miami's first drive, there's a flag down. Let's check the marker first. Deep in the secondary. It came out kind of late, Mark. First time hearing from referee Gary Patterson today.
After the play, personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 34, offense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. The down counts. Third down. Correction, second down. Second down.
Yeah, not sure 24 was the number. That's Chris Johnson, the running back.
Interesting. Illegal blindside block after the play.
After the whistle, so that's going to move Miami back. I was going to say, Mark, on their first drive, they marched down the field, 63 passing yards, but only 3 rushing yards on 3 carries for Miami.
Yeah, I think for Ball State, you saw last week them giving up only 60 yards on the ground, but that's the Missouri State, right? You don't really get a good judge of how good this run defense can be. Well, this is the test now. Only 3 yards on that first series. I'm sure Mario Cristobal is going to want to get back on the ground and get some success rolling with his running backs.
And do they do it here on 2nd and 21? No, instead it's Ward to throw. Has Jacoby George wide open. The defender slips. George has the first down and a lot more. Still on his feet inside the 30, inside the 20, and he'll score.
Wait a second. I think that the ref blew the whistle back around the 46-yard line.
Moving on the field, the ball carrier ran out of bounds at the 46-yard line. First down, Miami.
46 yards. And George is coming back to the huddle on the opposite side of the field. He ran like 146 yards in total on that play.
He did. And I'm wondering, how comes no one's tackling him? Let's check out to see if this foot does step. Yeah, steps out right there.
Maybe even twice.
And then you started to see the Ball State defenders just stopping play.
Almost a 71-yard touchdown reception. Still, though, on 2nd and long, they move the sticks. Martinez just probing the middle of that Ball State defense, and he picks up 3, and that's been sort of the modus operandi for this run offense for Miami, is 3 yards in a cloud of mud.
Yeah, and if you can get 3 yards a carry, that's what that's fine, right? But Shannon Dawson, he comes from an air raid system, so he wants to throw the ball. So if the run is not working and the pass is working, they're just going to stick with the ball in the air.
Martinez in motion. Ward quickly slings it out to George. Now he's got a lot of room. Hadn't stepped out of bounds yet. Finally does at around the 20.
Yeah, that's how you run the ball in an air raid offense. You get the wide receiver screens on the outside. You get your top skill player in space. Good blocking on the outside. And that's a big pickup through the air.
George coming to the sideline. He had a little bit of a limp as he came to the sideline, took his helmet off. Yeah, he's definitely favoring one of his legs, so we'll keep an eye on 3 and orange underneath the awning on the Miami sideline. Fresh set of downs just outside the 20. Ward will again look to throw. He's got all kinds of time. Go to the end zone. Restrepo.
You hear the fan. You see him mouthing, Restrepo! Man, how good has Xavier Restrepo been with the U on his helmet? Just a simple, deep out route. Cam Ward saw the coverage, knew exactly where to go. Now in the swinging gate formation, they've already snapped this to the tight end once this year to convert it a 2-point conversion. Now they'll go back to their regular field goal spot.
Borregales adds it. And Miami extends their advantage to 10. Ward 4 for 4 on that drive, 72 yards. And in 2.5 minutes, they strike quickly.
Yeah, and Ward knew all the way. And he moved his head slightly to try to influence the safety, but it was basically man-to-man on the outside. He knew Restrepo had outside leverage on the guy coming from inside out. That is an easy pitch and catch for 2 of the best to do it in the ACC. If not the country, I should say.
And Restrepo came into this game just 63 yards shy of 2,000 receiving for his career. A couple of years ago, he got hurt mid-season and had to sit the rest of the year out. Came back with a vengeance last year, over 1,000 yards receiving, and he's well on his way this year. Another big game could be on tap for Xavier Restrepo.
Yeah, when you think about the company that he's in, he's in the top 10 Miami record books for receiving for a career. That's Miami. He has he said 2,000 yards. If he gets 63 this week, he passed Andre Johnson and Allen Hurns last week.
And you see what he's done recently. The last 4 games last year and the first 2 games this year. Look at those numbers.
I mean, that's wild. I mean, you're 1 yard away from having 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 straight 100-yard games, and who knows about tonight. I mean, that's a productive receiver. And anytime you have a receiver that does that, you know that defensive coordinators and defensive back coaches are saying, you need to know where 7 is at all times. And it's not like you're watching Miami move him around a lot either anymore. That's what they used to do. They used to move him around, get him matchups. Tonight, they're just lining him up and letting him run routes, and he's been open a lot for Cam Ward.
Another opportunity for Caden Simonza to throw. Pressure up the middle. Simonza steps up, has his receiver. That's the big tight end, Koziel. And they'll pick up a first down. Jaden Harris on the tackle. But Simonza, if he can step into the pocket, Mark, he's got this 6'7" receiver in Koziel. Big target over the middle. Big bunch formation at the top of your screen. 4 different receivers for Ball State up there. Sloan on the carry. Gets a couple to the 45. Ahmad Moten, C.J. Clark, another one of those transfers. Came here to Miami from NC State, C.J. Clark did. So if you're Ball State, I guess, in this game, just pull out all the stops, right? Any kind of formation you can think of, just throw those wrinkles at Miami. Yeah,
anything to test Miami and say, okay, are you going to cover this correctly, or are you going to be lazy on us? That time Miami covered up the screen play over up there correctly, forced Ball State to run.
2nd and 8 under center. We give to Sloan. Sloan lowers his shoulder, picks up another couple of yards. They love Braden Sloan. Transferred in from Eastern Kentucky after 3 really excellent years out there. His last 2, 1,400 yards rushing, and he catches the ball really well out of the backfield. 82 catches out of the backfield over the last 2 years. There's Simonza has been perfect throwing the football so far in this game. 7 for 7, trying to make it 8 for 8. Steps up in the pocket, finds his receiver. That's going to be close to the marker. Maybe the extra effort from Cam Pickett got him there, and it did.
It looked like Cam Pickett, if he had just continued his forward momentum, he'd have picked it up. He kind of stops to juke, but that extra effort, great job by Simonza to escape the pressure. And he did pick up the first down.
Here you see Caden's numbers. Perfect on the day. And moving into Miami territory. Simonza to throw again. Outside, this one bounces to his receiver, intended receiver.
Miscommunication on the outside. So Simonza signaling to his wide receiver after. My bad.
So a receiving group that is just banged up, Mark. You think about it. Justin Bowick out. Ty Robinson out. Trey Firestone out from this receiving core. Kyle Kelly again at that quarterback spot with the Wildcat. Nowhere to go. Still on his feet, though, fighting for extra yardage. They'll blow him down right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this is who you're talking about, who's out on offense. You talk about Justin Bowick, Ty Robinson, Trey Firestone. Those are their top 3 wide receivers. T.J. Horton, a backup running back, and then Maximus Webster, another running back. So it's really the skill position groups for Ball State that are having issues. This offensive and defensive line has been their strength really all last year and all the beginning of this season. They've done a good job of protecting Caden Simonza. Let's see if they can do it here on 3rd down.
Miami brings just 3 plus a spy, and that spy gets to Simonza. That's Elijah Alston.
Elijah Alston just drops off the middle. You see number 11 right over the ball, spying. And you see the offensive lineman, number 64, he can't go downfield and engage because it is a pass. Really good job of waiting till the ball declares and picking up a sack.
Alston's second in as many weeks, forcing a 4th down and another Cooey punt. Low end over end. He's going to check at the 7 and die right there. Outstanding punt from Brian Cooey, hitting Miami deep, and the Hurricanes back on offense, up 10 when we come back.
Welcome back to Miami, where the Canes lead 10-0. During the break, I noticed that receiver Jacoby George, who left the field during the last Miami drive, he was being worked on by the athletic trainers on Miami's sideline. They were flexing his left ankle, they were working on his left calf, and at times he was even pointing at his left heel, which is wrapped. But he is back on the field. He just grabbed his helmet, so we will see if he can contribute on this drive.
All right, thanks, Coley. Canes starting from their own 6. Ward to give to Fletcher. First time we've seen him today, and he lowers his shoulder, picks up, still picking up yards, tough yards. Out to about the 14.
Those are about as tough yards as you can get. How about number 4, Mark Fletcher, 6'2", 225-pound sophomore. Look at him. Just climb over top. He's not down yet. Think he's not fighting for yardage?
Injury on the Miami offensive line. That's Inez Cooper. The 6'6", 350-pound junior out of Pleasant Grove, Alabama. At 350, he's just barely the biggest Miami offensive lineman.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who came back from last year and 13 starts at that same right guard position last year. He was an honorable mention all ACC player. One of the things that has allowed Cam Ward to fit so easily into this offense is the fact that their offensive line really got good last year under Cristobal. They're one of the top O-lines in the nation last year and carrying 3 guys over and bringing 2 more in the transfer portal. They really shored up the spots they needed to, and that's allowed Cam Ward to have a lot of time to get the ball out. So losing Unez Cooper could be a big loss for Miami.
Cooper sat up as the staff continues to look him over. You got Coach Cristobal out there on a knee. There he is. Obviously concerned about his right guard. Let's see if we can see how it happened here on the replay, Mark. Good to see Unez Cooper getting up to his feet, as he wants to do all he can to walk off under his own power.
Yeah, I do not have a telestrator, but look at the right guard, number 73. He's locked up with number 9 on the defense. And you see he just gets rolled up on that left heel ankle. Good to see him walking off the field.
A great effort by Mark Fletcher, netting 7 yards. Miami had just 6 yards rushing in the entire first quarter. Staying on the ground with Fletcher. This time he gets tripped up, maybe picks up a couple. Give him 1 yard on the play, and it's 3rd and 3.
Yeah, great play by Dede Snyder. Coming up from his boundary safety position, making a great tackle. That's going to set up 3rd and short. Again, this Ball State rush defense has been phenomenal in this game. Big 3rd down for Miami.
Now whistles blow, and Miami wants to talk things over.
Miami, that's their 2nd charge timeout of the half. Media
Coach
timeout.
Cristobal and company want to talk things over on a 3rd down deep in their own territory. We'll show you when we get back. Miami up 10 early 2nd quarter. Don't forget, coming up tonight after the Maryland-Virginia game, the ACC Huddle crew will have a full post-game and post-Saturday wrap-up show. Really all the highlights and scores from all the action today in the ACC right here on the ACC Network and on the ESPN app. Miami offense has been very successful through the year, not so much on the ground, Mark.
No, they haven't, and that allowed them. That allowed Ball State to stop them in the red zone on the last trip, and that's what got him into this 3rd and short package. Let's see if Miami decides to stay on the ground or if they go to the air coming out of this bunch formation.
Cam Ward has Mark Fletcher in the backfield. He will look to throw. Complete. That's good news. Jacoby George trying to make a couple of moves and picks up an extra 2 or 3 yards out to the 29.
Jeff Knowles, the defensive coordinator for Ball State, brought pressure. It was a good job of Cam Ward locating Jacoby George on that slant route to pick up the 1st down.
Now they want to move quickly. Ward fakes to Fletcher. Wants to go up top to George. Just overshoots him. A lot of fighting and hand grabbing down the sideline, but no flags. Check out Miles Norwood.
Yeah, watch these guys. I mean, they're playing the game. Miles Norwood's got some hands on him. George got some hands on him.
The fact that Norwood turns to find the ball probably helped him a lot in that situation.
And these are some big cornerbacks that Ball State has. Miles Norwood, 6'1", 185 pounds. Good job of using his physicality on George.
Only the 3rd incompletion of the game so far for Cam Ward. Empty backfield. Now he's pressured. Goes way downfield. A dangerous pass. As I'm not sure whether Ward was trying to throw that away or trying to hit Isaiah Norton downfield. Either way, it's an incomplete pass.
And Cam Ward missed Xavier Restrepo wide open in busted coverage. But it was the pressure from Ball State's defense that forced Cam Ward out of the pocket, rolling to his right, unable to find his receiver. I'm sure he'll go back and look at that little iPad on the sideline and say, hey, call that again.
Another 3rd down, this time 3rd and 10. Fletcher moves towards left. Ward behind Sam Brown, incomplete. So Cam Ward was ultra efficient, and now on that drive he missed 3 straight with incompletions to force the punt.
Well, it's one he usually makes, but you're right, he just threw it behind the intended receiver. He puts that 2 yards in front and lets Sam Brown run under that one. It's a big gain. Another good stop by Ball State's defense. And they're currently down 10 points to the number 10 team in the country. Low snap. Dylan Joyce did a good job to go down and get it. And a good punt here and great coverage. Keon Magwood was able to grab the punt, but he was stuck right in his tracks by Dylan Day. Picture perfect coverage by Dylan Day. No hand was raised, shoulder right through the chest. Got his head out of it. Perfect timing. That's a great special teams play by a gunner. And you can see what it means to his teammates. And that's valuable. If you can do that in the NFL, you can play a long career. Matthew Slater played for 16 years doing exactly that. Yeah, that's going to be a penalty.
Offside, good contact. Number 9, defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
He was going to introduce himself to Caden Simonza. That's one of those where there's no getting back. Yeah, and we're laughing about it. But in reality, your offense just gets stalled out. You botch the snap on the punt. You punt it down there. Yeah, you make a good special teams play, but then you jump off sides. Just don't let it unravel if you're Miami. Trick play here. Kyle Kelly's going to try and throw. And the quarterback last year, Kyle Kelly, couldn't hit his receiver on the outside, Keon Magwood. Yeah, Darrell Porter Jr., number 2, does a great job at the top of your screen, staying with his man. That's kind of, to me, a little bit of a risky throw. Yeah, Kelly was more of a dual threat quarterback last year, switching to DB and sometimes receiver this year. They're probably going to use him more as a receiver with all the injuries they have at that side. 2nd down and 5. Give to Sloan. Good opening, good running, 2 up the middle. That's 8 yards and a first down. Ball State's had not a lot of success running the football, but Sloan's gotten loose a couple of times.
Yeah, and the yardage isn't going to show it. Only 1 yard rushing after that play because of a couple sacks. But Sloan has had a couple of instances where it's either him running it up the middle or him getting the ball in some swing routes. That running back versus linebacker, that's going to be an interesting matchup we watch as this game progresses.
Again, Kyle Kelly in at quarterback.
Simonza all the way to the top of the screen. Oh my.
Kelly just got clobbered. Malik Bryant.
Man. Malik Bryant, this is what 6'2", 225 pounds looks like when it comes right at your face. Watch him shed the block. Boom. He got a little help by a slippery footing, but great play shedding the tight end, making a big tackle. 4th
TFL of the afternoon for Miami. 2nd down and 11. Pemberton is the running back. They'll send Magwood in motion. Simonza to throw. Miami brings just 4. He swings it out to Pemberton. Kiko Maui Noah with the tackle, just forcing him out of bounds after a gain of 4.
Now we know the leader of this defense.
2nd team All ACC last year.
Yep.
Cardinals 1 for 4 on 3rd down, facing a 3rd and 8. Sloan back in at tailback. Simonza to throw. Flush. Look out here. Gets dropped. Barron once again. 3rd sack of the game, and Barron picks up another one.
That time Miami only rushed 3. They had a little spy player over the top. And Barron just worked his way to the football, kept his hands clean. Got another sack on the year. Tyler Barron is having a heck of a start to this season.
Cardinals force the punt once again. Ray Joseph standing by at his 25. Cooey puts a foot into it. That's a good punt. Forcing a fair catch from Ray at the 17. They'll mark it at the 18. That's where Miami will take over when we come back.
Welcome back to Miami. During the last Miami drive, we saw right guard Inez Cooper leave the field. Athletic trainers were tending to his left leg at the time. Several members of the athletic training staff actually went inside the medical tent with Cooper not long after that. Currently, he is listed as questionable to return. The team is still continuing to evaluate him. We just saw him leave a bike, a stationary bike, to see how that leg is responding. Currently, it's a lower leg extremity. That's what the team is calling it.
All right, thank you, Cooley. Still trying to find that running game. Haven't been able to find it yet. Staying with Fletcher. He picks up a yard on that left side.
And Miami's going to continue to give Ball State a taste of it, but when it comes down to it, they're going to get back in this spread formation and throw the ball.
That's what Ward's going to do right here. Has a receiver open. First down and a whole lot more. That looked like Isaiah Horton on the far side. It was. 20 yards.
Yeah, just rushed forward and went through his whole progression. You see him look off to the right, come all the way back to the left, and Isaiah Horton was wide open.
That's Cam Ward's 5th completion of 20-plus yards on the day. Shane hit it up at the line of scrimmage. He's still got Fletcher in the game with him. Barking instructions to his receivers. He'll look to throw. Has protection. Going downfield. Once again, Horton inside the 20. And he'll score. Marker down on the play. Well behind the play in the backfield. Will the 60-yard pitch and catch stand?
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face. Number 70, offense. 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Call's going to go against Markel Bell.
Yeah, and it really was because Brandon Berger had a phenomenal pass rush. Just bull rush number 70 on the right-hand side. Bulls him. And then as Markel Bell is falling back, he just gets that left hand up in the face mask, and that negates a massive play for Miami. Markel Bell at 6'9", 340 pounds. Is a massive human being.
Offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson, described him as a mountain of a man, but said he was really surprised when he got on campus. He's a transfer from Holmes Community College in Mississippi. He said he was really surprised by his footwork.
Yeah. And you saw the power that Brandon Berger brought at 6'4", 250. At linebacker. That's a well-built linebacker.
Now they're all the way back at their own 25. It's 1st and 25. Ward will look to throw. Had Restrepo open over the middle. Couldn't find him. Now he sends him deep, and he's trying to connect with him. 2 receivers down there, and it bounces incomplete. Had Restrepo and Sam Brown as they both broke off their routes once Cam Ward was flushed from the pocket, but couldn't connect with him.
Yeah, Cam Ward tried to buy time to let these deep routes develop, but watch the lick he took. Bam, he got hit right into the ground, and you saw earlier in that replay, Restrepo was wide open right now. Right over the middle of the field. Cam missed him.
2nd and 25, so you get a good look at Xavier Restrepo. In his 5th year here at Miami. Ward's misfired a little bit here after being pretty much perfect through the first quarter. Pump fakes. Gets it to Fletcher. He's going to have to do a lot on his own. Stiff arms a defender. Stays in bounds. Before finally being forced out at the 41. 16 yards on the pickup. It'll bring up a little bit more of a manageable 3rd down. Look at this a couple of plays ago. Oh, that was on the last play.
Well, you see Restrepo was kind of working his way back through there, but Shannon Dawson said, look, sometimes Cam just needs to take what the defense gives him. Good job putting him in 3rd and manageable with that little dump down to the running back.
3rd and 9. Quickly. Out to Brown. A lot of room to run. Leapfrogs a defender. And brought down at the 37. Sam Brown.
Wow. Sam I Am. Look at him leap over. Nobody. He didn't even leap over anybody.
Leaped around the defender and not over the defender.
Timeout, injured Ball State player.
I mean, but this is what Shannon Dawson's talking about. You can have a little dump off to these type of playmakers and allow them to go and make a play. I mean, trying to force the ball, having 20-plus yard completions, air yards down the field all the time, it's hard for a quarterback. Doesn't matter who you're playing. But when you have these type of playmakers in the skill position like Miami does, a little quick check down to a running back or a little bubble screen out to a wide receiver, they can pick up big yards on their own.
There's Shannon Dawson, Canes offensive coordinator. He's watched his quarterback, Cam Ward, now pass for over 200 yards here in the first half.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's really the only thing that he needs to get better at. You just need to start taking what the defense gives you sometimes, but, you know, he is so impressed with Cam Ward. And, you know, think about Cam Ward. He was a zero-star recruit coming out of high school, and thanks to the transfer portal, which a lot of people don't like, he has made his way to Miami and is a Heisman hopeful.
First 2 years at Incarnate Word before transferring to Wazoo for a couple of years. Now pump fake has Restrepo over the middle, just overshoots him.
And that's a miss. You know, Restrepo's downfield, and I don't know whether the ball is slippery. There's a ton of humidity in the air, but that's a ball that Cam Ward usually makes.
Second down and 10. Got Lylan Johnson in the backfield with Ward. Now they'll take Johnson and swing it out to him. Got a blocker in front of him in Restrepo. Great block. Johnson on his way.
There it is. Get the ball in the hands of the playmakers and let them make plays. This was a great job by Chris Johnson using his speed, but the play was made on the outside by number 3, Jacoby George, and number 7, Xavier Restrepo, getting massive blocks and sustaining blocks to free up an alley for their running back to get to the end zone. Great unselfish play on the outside by these wide receivers.
Borregales wraps it up. 7 plays, 82 yards. The final 37 of them covered by that young man right there, Chris Johnson, the redshirt freshman from Dillard High School just up the road here in Fort Lauderdale. It looked like another offensive lineman. That was CC Maui Noah walking off a little bit gingerly. ESPN supports the College Football Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. Miami increases their lead to 17. Borregales going to kick it back off to Ball State.
And that was really the first time all year we've seen some inconsistency with the throwing game from Cam Ward. Obviously, you know, this team does enough to outman Ball State on that drive, but we'll continue to watch that and watch and see how this weather has been affecting Ward.
Let's send it down to Coley Harvey on the field. Coley?
Chris, you were just talking about educators, and well, Miami quarterback Cam Ward, he's got fond memories of elementary school. He told me earlier this week that when he was in math class in the 4th grade, that for 2 weeks he couldn't figure out how to divide, but dear Miss Sanders spent time with him and he finally got it. All I wanted to do was division after that, he said. Cam's family's also been very close to his 5th and 6th grade teacher, Miss Jennings. Last time he was home, he happened to see her at the beauty salon. He was getting his locks done at the time. And also a quick shout out to Cam's mom, Patrice. She coached high school girls basketball in Texas for more than 30 years.
Yeah, great stuff, Coley. Samanza stepping up. Fakes the throw. Now he's going to give it a shot. Completes it to his tight end, Koziol. 6 yards. That was a nice job by Samanza to stay on the right side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, good job by Koziel coming back to the football, just creating a window for his quarterback to get the ball to. It's so fun, Cam Ward, thinking back to elementary school.
I don't remember anything about elementary school.
I remember it was awesome, though, right? I have kids in elementary school now. Like, that seems fun. Oh, let me go back.
Granted, it was like a one-room schoolhouse and a slate when I was in elementary school, but Samanza, shovel pass. Koziel stopped in his tracks.
In all honesty, did you have mechanical pencils when you were in elementary school?
No, regular pencils.
Regular only?
I had all those NFL pencils with each team on it.
Did you have electric pencil sharpeners, or was it all handheld?
We did have electricity. I mean, I went to elementary school, after Westinghouse and everybody else came out with the electric pencil sharpener, yes. But the handheld ones, back in the day when when things were made to last, those were the ones that you used.
All right, it's third down. Let's get to football. Let's go.
3rd and 5. Samanza, Canes bring pressure. He gets drilled. Got rid of the football.
Gosh.
But he got hammered and a flag comes down right where Wesley Basaint absolutely leveled the Ball State quarterback.
Oh, man, this could be personal foul for hitting him too hard.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh, man, all right, watch number 31. He's working over the left guard in the B gap.
High hit, John. High hit, John.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Well, he hit him in his chest with his face mask, but he did it really hard, so.
You can see 4th penalty for 50 yards against Miami, and that man on the right's unhappy about it. He's expressing
he's pointing at his sternum. He hit him right in the sternum.
Fresh set of downs for Samanza and Ball State. The screen. Magwood fumbles the football, and it's picked up by the Canes. They're saying it's incomplete.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
Tyler Barron came out of there with it, but the officials were immediate to come in and rule it incomplete. And again, you've got Mario Cristobal unhappy and having a few words with the official.
All these plays are being reviewed upstairs. Doesn't look like you're going to stop play for it. Let's take another look. That looks like a football move. I don't know. It looks like it's too close to overturn. They'll let it play.
They won't stop him. Ball State's going to try and run for it here on 2nd down. Christian Davis picks up about 2 yards. Let's take another look at that, Mark.
And the way this works is all these plays are reviewed upstairs. And you hear sometimes like coaches call timeouts, and a coach can call timeout. Like Mario Cristobal could call timeout there and give the booth extra time to look at it. But then you run the risk of wasting a timeout, and it kind of felt like there was enough time there for them to get that call. Either way, that's how that process works. And on 3rd down now, after 2 calls seemingly going against Miami, it'll be interesting to see what this defense does to respond on 3rd and long.
Ball State just 1 for 5. Canes bring pressure. Samanza gets rid of it, has his receiver pick it downfield and defended beautifully. Knocked away on the play. Jadis Richard from his star position makes the play and forces a 4th down.
Yeah, you see Miami brings pressure, and Tyler Barron almost gets there, but great coverage by Jadis Richard. He's working against Cam Pickett, the fastest wide receiver on Ball State's team, and he stays stride for stride with them.
Miami was offside. So Ray's going to let that bounce into the end zone, but Ball State's going to get 5 yards, and now in the middle of the field, would Coach New consider going for it here down 17? It'll be 4th and about 3.
Yeah, 4th and 3. And here's what Cam Ward's done coming into the night. You see how successful he's been. You see the 20-plus yard completions.
Number 9, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Yeah, they're gonna go for it here on 4th down. The offense coming back onto the field for Ball State. I thought they might. This gives them a chance here. 2:14 left in the first half, down 17. A chance to keep this drive alive, to maybe put some points on the board.
And you got to imagine they're going to go through the air. Oh, they get in a wishbone type formation.
And now Miami wants to call their 3rd and final timeout.
Miami, that's their 3rd and final timeout of the half. 3rd and final timeout. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, Lance Guidry, the defensive coordinator, said, "Oh, I don't know if we've seen that before." Let's talk to our guys and get them squared away. Interesting if Ball State comes out in that again. You know what, that signals to me if they do come out in a similar type formation, it's going to be some sort of option with Caden Simonza. Whether it's a run option or an option pass to the flat. A lot of times you bring the whole defense in to explode out and give multiple options to your mobile quarterback.
Coaching staff still talking things over with this Miami defense, making sure they're fully prepared if they see that formation again. And they do. Ball State breaks the formation and sends 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Simonza looking to draw him off sides. Miami doesn't come. And that's all they were trying to do.
Timeout, Ball State. That's their first charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
A lot of eye candy in that backfield, but Miami was not tricked. Coming up tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, Virginia hosts Maryland. It's also, as you know, available on that ESPN app. So check that out. That's a pretty good little inter-conference game there. Big Ten and ACC. Be a good test for both of those teams. I like what I've seen so far from Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia's look good. You see there, first time 2-0 since 2021. Anthony Calandria is having a good year so far. Their defense has been playing well. And when you score 30 or more points in a game, that usually means you get a W. They had a strong finish to last season. Good to see them pick up where they left off.
Now let's see if they really do go for it. After the timeout, offense stays on the field for Ball State. So Coach New tried to draw him offside. That didn't work. Now he's got Simonza back in the gun. He'll throw. Can't find anybody open, gets hit, and it falls incomplete. Akeem Messidor supplying the pressure up the middle.
And Raul Aguirre, number 32, does a great job on the tight end. That's who Simonza was looking for. And Tanner Cozio was trying to get across the middle. Good job by the backup linebacker, the true sophomore out of Fayetteville, Georgia. He made a great play on the tight end, forcing the errant throw.
2:09 left in this first half. Miami takes over from their own 47. Game's been backed up a little bit by mistakes and penalties on offense, but they're averaging 9.3 yards per play. So they've been getting that back and more. Johnson in motion. Cam Ward to throw. Strike to his tight end. That's Arroyo. Out of bounds. They'll mark it near the 20, right at the 21. We have reached the 2-minute timeout. Miami back in business, up 17 late in this first half.
Welcome back to Miami, where Miami is up 17-0. It's been because Cam Ward has hit the deep balls downfield for touchdowns and then swing it out to his running back. These big play passes from Miami have been so successful all year. And Cam Ward in this offense is at the 20-yard line trying to punch another one in before the half. They do get the ball to start the second half. So if they can score here, they can double dip.
Ward play flake to Fletcher. He stays in the block. Going to the end zone. Arroyo, touchdown.
And there it is again, another 20-plus yard pass for a touchdown. This one to Elijah Arroyo, who scored his first touchdown in over 1,000 days last week. Banged up with different injuries, and Arroyo has been a phenomenal player for this Miami team for a long time. In this drive, he had the long catch over the middle and followed up with the long touchdown reception for 6 points.
And it just took him 2 plays after picking up the ball on downs. Origales adds the PAT.
Little play action, good pickup by Fletcher, and Arroyo came all the way across the field, and this zone coverage for Ball State just missed him. And I got to figure out what the heck that means.
Everyone's doing it.
I don't know. They got to give us a billboard or something. What does that mean? Chris, you've been doing it up here in the booth.
Feels good. It obviously feels good for the Canes.
I hope it's something appropriate.
I hadn't seen Sebastian do it yet, but I'm sure it's something that if Miami keeps winning, everybody in South Florida will be doing it. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Miami ranked in the top 10 for the first time since 2020, coming in at 10 in the latest AP poll. And Malcolm Gilly is going to watch this one sail over his head for a touchback. Minute 53 left to go for Ball State. You see what Cam Ward has done game by game. He's on the verge of going over 300 again tonight.
Yeah, and 297 in the first half, up 24-0. Very similar situation to what they had against Florida A&M, and I think the question was, okay, after half, is Cam Ward going to keep playing? He did. He kept playing, and he picked up more stats. And I don't know, if I'm Mario Cristobal and my quarterback has the potential to be in a Heisman race, leave him in, let him get some more stats.
And I'll also say this, you're up 24 points, but you haven't been able to run the ball very effectively all game long. So I'm still going to need Cam Ward, at least in the early part of that second half. Pressure up the middle, and Samanza had to get rid of it. And that was a dangerous pass, but he was about to get leveled.
And you're starting to see a little bit of talent discrepancy with some of this late surge defensively by Miami. Just able to win one-on-one plays, and the speed, and really I think the lack of depth at the wide receiver and running back position for Ball State has hurt them.
Yeah, you know, Samanza started a house of fire. He was 10 of 11 to start this game, but he's missed 4 straight.
Yeah, and he just hasn't had guys to rotate in at receiver.
Pocket collapses, it's intercepted. Elijah Alston picks it off. Miami is at the 20-yard line again.
Yeah, and Tyler Barron was the one who got to the quarterback again. And he either hit Samanza and tipped the ball up or knocked the ball out himself. But either way, the defensive line for Miami, watch here off the right-hand side, yeah, tipped the football. A great job by Elijah Alston. The defensive line for Miami is definitely the most improved group on this entire team. We talked about in the open, Mario Cristobal last year felt like he fixed the offensive line through recruiting and through developing his young players. This year, they felt, okay, now the defensive line is caught up and they can make plays, and they have all season.
5th interception on the season for this Miami defense. Ward to throw again. That one is tipped up into the air by his receiver, Sam Brown. And Ward maybe with just a little bit too much heat on it for a receiver that was about 6 yards in front of him. Sam Brown will still be kicking himself for not squeezing it, though. Second down. Ward to throw again. Restrepo over the middle to the 5, into the end zone.
House call, Xavier Restrepo.
Mark, how about the connection these two have? You could see Ward and Restrepo in communication pre-snap.
Yeah, and they knew the matchup they were going to get. They were going to get Restrepo working over top of a linebacker, and you see Restrepo just settle down. That is a well-run route, settling over the linebacker and underneath the safety. Cam Ward hits him, and Restrepo breaks some tackles, gets in the end zone. These two are connected.
2 touchdowns, 23 seconds apart, and the Hurricanes have blown this one wide open here in the later stages of this second quarter.
Yeah, remember that drive where Cam Ward just wasn't on target? You know, there was a couple times where Restrepo was open and they overthrew him, where he missed a wide open guy. You know, Cam Ward settled back in, right? You go for a 2.5-hour weather delay, and you got to get up for Ball State anyways. And then you come out, have early success. You saw that lull in the middle of that second quarter. Well, last week you saw a similar lull in the third quarter from Cam Ward, but each time he picked it back up. And you saw that come earlier in this game, which has to be encouragement for Mario Cristobal and Shannon Dawson.
Ward's second quarter alone, 182 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, so now he has 317 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's not even halftime yet.
Right. And they're up 31. So maybe that's a little bit of a different story and something that Coach Cristobal and his staff will contemplate at the half.
In the first half.
Yeah, it's been impressive. And part of that, too, is the fact that Miami's only been able to run for 16 total yards rushing.
Right.
So, throw it. Here you see the rushing yards. Neither team's been able to get anything going on the ground.
No, not at all. And the Ball State actually has been more successful from the running back position, but they've gotten sacked a bunch of times, so takes off yardage.
Simons at a throw. Pressure again from Barron. The screen to Sloan. Avoids a couple of tacklers. That's the one play that's been effective for them, hasn't it been, Mark?
Yeah, it's been the one play, and really, one of 2 players that has been really effective for him, and it's been Sloan. He's had 5 catches through the air, and we've been their leading rusher only with 12 yards, but
Simons does not have a lot of time to throw the ball, and that man right there, former quarterback himself, Mike New, knows it. He knows he's got to design plays, and his offensive coordinator and play caller, Jared Elliott, have got to get the ball out of Simons' hands quickly. Like right here. And he gets his tight end, Cozio, out of bounds after a 9-yard pickup. O.J. Frederic, the true freshman, out of St. Thomas Aquinas, forcing him out.
Yeah, and Cozio's the other guy that I was mentioning who has made some plays for his quarterback in this game. That's his fifth catch as well.
Cozio checks in at 6'7", about 240 pounds. This coaching staff for Ball State thinks he has a future in the NFL.
Yeah, they said that, look, he needs to play big today. He's going to be going against some big guys, especially in the blocking game. He needs to play big. He's done so in the passing game so far.
Simons at a throw. Again, out to Cozio.
He is a long guy. He could add more weight too. If he's looking to go to the next level, I mean, he could easily be 255, 260 at that 6'7" frame.
A few of those sloppy joes you were eating at the press room.
Oh my gosh.
Look at him there.
All there was.
Oh my gosh. Pemberton now the Tailback for Ball State. Samonza has a little bit of time here underneath, and that's going to be incomplete. Official right on it.
Now on the field is an incomplete pass. Second
coverage.
down.
I mean, that's just a phenomenal play by Kiko Mauinoa. You watch him in the middle of the field. He's spying the quarterback. He sees the quarterback's eyes, and he just breaks on the football. This improvement by this linebacking core. We saw Bissett already have an interception. Big hit on the quarterback that was called a penalty. And Mauinoa had been all in the field.
Still over a minute left to play in the first half. Samonza in trouble there. Just tried to back shoulder it to his big tight end. Falls incomplete. Barron again putting pressure, just relentless. Alongside Messidor.
Yeah, if you're in this type of game as a defensive lineman, you know, hey, first of all, we're in a 2-minute drill, but we also know that this team has to throw the ball to get back in it. I mean, you are hungry. If you weren't feeling that desire to get a sack before, like, you want to get those stats. And you see Jason Taylor, their all-world coach.
He is working up a lather, isn't he, down there on the sideline?
I don't know if I've ever seen him not working up a ladder.
Yeah, extorting this defensive front. Samonza the screen. Stuffed. Just too many orange shirts. Justin Scott, another one of these talented true freshmen. Coming to Miami from Chicago on the tackle.
It's just a phenomenal play recognition. You know, Jason Taylor's a little fired up, but he coached his guys up well. They saw that screen look, high hats by the offensive linemen. No one rushed the passer, and they all found the biggest threat to him. In a fourth and 13. I mean, it shows you what type of position.
Jason Taylor's in great shape, but I could see why. I mean, he must lose 15 to 20 pounds every game.
Well, yes, and
Timeout, Ball State.
It did rain
That's their second charge timeout of the half. Second charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Drenching in his sweatshirt is rainwater.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I think God made some of that water and put it on him, but he definitely self-produced a lot of it.
Well, his defensive front has played extraordinarily well in this game. They've consistently gotten pressure on Caden Samonza with just 3 or 4 rushers.
Yeah, they have, and you know, it hasn't been just the same 3 or 4 rushers either, right? You put Tyler Barron in there. Okay, Justin Scott's going to come in. Now Simeon Barrow's in, and Elijah Alston. I mean, all these guys are doing their part in getting pressure, and it doesn't matter. It's not. Also, we haven't seen Ruben Bain.
Miami is now number 35.
Right, Ruben Bain was ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. He has yet to see the field today. As he's injured, he'll be out all day. But think about when they get him back.
Yeah, a lot of depth on that defensive front. 3 sacks on the day, 6 TFLs. And oh, by the way, an interception for your defensive line to boot. Four seconds left in this first half. Time for 1 snap for Ball State. Taylor Tenenbaum and the crew standing by in Charlottesville, where it looked like they had an absolute Chamber of Commerce day there, getting set for Virginia and Maryland later on tonight.
Yeah, the weather looked amazing there. And that's one of the most beautiful campuses in all the ACC, really in all the country.
And it takes a step up in the fall, that is for sure. Miami will run the ball right up the middle.
Yep.
Jordan Lyle will get what he can. That's about 6 yards. And we've reached the end of the first half. What a first half it was for Cam Ward.
And really, when the U is great, what's great? Their defense is always great.
Yeah, no question.
And that's why they're ranked in the top 10. And after this win, I wouldn't be surprised if they go up higher.
And this was a relatively close game. It was 17-0 until the final 2 minutes of that first half. Miami scored twice within 23 seconds to give them this advantage. And they get the ball here to start the second half.
Yeah, it was really some of the first times we've seen punts from this Miami team. And after every single punt, the defense stood up tall and got the ball back to the offense.
Chris Johnson Cuts it back inside. And a nice tackle in coverage by Ball State to prevent that from being a big return. Coley Harvey's the third member of our crew. How you doing, Coley?
Doing well, Chris. I want to let you know that we are going to expect to see Miami quarterback Cam Ward for a little while longer. I asked Miami head coach Mario Cristobal about that. He said, we're going to stay with him pretty much until this game is in hand. So expect to see him on the field a lot longer. Cristobal told me that he was pleased with the way his offense responded to the way that Ball State's defense tended to stack the box defensively. As for Ball State, when it comes to slowing down Ward, well, head coach Mike New told me that he needs to see better pressure from his defense, guys.
All right, thanks, Coley. Ward will look to throw, and just throws this over the head of his receiver as Restrepo was covered nicely that time defensively by number 12. That's Ty Baldwin. Coley's got a big challenge ahead of him today. Not only to keep the electrolytes, taking him in to prevent himself from getting dehydrated, but does he wear the jacket? Does he not wear the jacket?
I know.
You know, is the rain coming? Is it staying away? He's done an outstanding job so far in trying circumstances down there on the field.
And he didn't get a locker room to go in and cool off during halftime.
That's a good point. Fletcher and Miami's gone with a lot of backs today. They started with Martinez. I don't think we've seen Damian Martinez much since the first quarter. It's been a lot of Mark Fletcher. We've seen Jordan Lyle, the freshman, and some of Chris Johnson as well.
Yeah, it really just hasn't been a lot going on the ground game. That was their most successful run play so far in this game. And I think this is when you could start wearing on the defensive front, right? You get them tired. They aren't as deep as you. They aren't as physical as you. Yeah, they stood up to you in the first half, but now is where you want to try to impose your will with get your big backs in the game with Mark Fletcher.
3rd down and 4. Ward to throw over the middle, has a receiver, complete first down and more. That was Sam Brown. Picked up about 10 yards, give him 12, and they'll move the sticks.
Yeah, and these running backs aren't getting the ball all the time. Watch Mark Fletcher on the right. You can barely see it, but he stones the pass rusher. I mean, these guys are big, solid backs. Here they go.
There's Fletcher. Bounces to the outside. He shows the speed to go along with that size. And by far the biggest run of the day for this Miami offense.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. These big O linemen have been laying on the defensive front. You see the push finally, right? The wide receivers have done a good job all game blocking downfield. Now the offensive line is getting some push. Expect this run game to open up for Miami in this 3rd quarter.
They only had 28 rushing yards in the entire first half, the Hurricanes did. Double that on that run right there. Restrepo in motion. Ward is going to give it to Fletcher. Met at the line of scrimmage, bounces off a tackler, and another one into the 2nd level, down to the 16. They'll mark him at the 17 before, again, Ty Baldwin on the tackle. But Fletcher's starting to heat up a little bit. Now he'll take a break, and Martinez, who's only been in 1 snap since the first quarter, will check in, number 6 in orange.
Damian Martinez, he was a big get in the transfer portal out of Oregon State. On the Maxwell watch list.
Only 3 carries so far in this game. All those 3 in the first quarter. Now he's in motion. Ward will look to throw. Snaps it up to George. Inside the 10, inside the 5, and he'll score. Another 17 yards through the air for Cam Ward, and Jacoby George finds the end zone. That's touchdown pass number 5 on the day.
And Cam Ward's arm angles that he can throw the ball from. You see George limping. Remember, he got a little banged up. You see that just flick the ball out? Just so casual about it, so graceful, and just flicking the ball out to George and let him make a play.
Yeah, he's been banged up all game, but he's had a great game now. 6 catches, 109 yards, and that touchdown right there.
He didn't see anything from him running the route or after the catch.
There's George. The staff looks at him every time he comes to the sideline, but I guess he's like, I'm not coming out of this game.
Yeah,
this is a wide receiver's dream.
It's like Field of Dreams. Every time he crosses the white line and steps on the field, he's alive. He goes back out and outside the sideline, he dies.
And he has passes thrown to him, so why not?
Yeah.
It is a field of dreams for a receiver in this offense.
Oh, absolutely. Sebastian's got to be hot.
Think about that. In that costume, never stops moving the entire game.
Your parents always talk about like a hockey bag or your gym bag. Think about storing that Sebastian uniform.
That'll smell great. Borregales to kick off. Gilly watches it sail over his head. We're going to stay on the ACC Network Extra for the remainder of our game, but we got Virginia and Maryland coming up next on the ACC Network, so go over to ACC Extra to watch us. For now, West Durham, take it away, guys. Well, I want to welcome those of you again who decided to tune into ACC Extra for the remainder of this game. We got off to about a 2.5-hour late start because of weather, but we're here with you now to see this game through its conclusion. And Miami has broken this one wide open with yet another touchdown here to start this third quarter. It's 38-0, and the defense continues to play hard. That was Popo Aguirre.
Oh my God!
Slamming the defender down, slamming the running back down along with Elijah Alston.
Watch Aguirre at the end of this play.
Vicious.
Oh, I like it.
That was Alston who slung him down. I thought it was Aguirre at first.
That one could have potentially been a penalty.
Alston had an interception in the first half. He's had a heck of a game.
What a game.
Again, Ball State trying to establish some type of a running game, and give Braden Sloan and those running backs credit. They've given it everything that they've had. They're just running into stone walls. Alston on that last play, and then Aguirre on that play.
The last couple third downs, and when they needed yardage, they went to Tanner Koziel, their big tight end, number 88. Interesting to see where they go this time. Miami not bringing pressure.
Underneath. Magwood's going to have to make something happen on his own, giving it everything he's got, but just too much pursuit from the orange jerseys. Just the second 3-and-out forced by this Miami defense on the game. Credit to that man. And
number 5 for Miami is now number 35. 5 is 35 for Miami.
Credit Simonza in this Ball State offense. But they just haven't been able to get any type of sustained drive moving on this day. Cooey will punt it away once again. Ray Joseph standing by at his own 32. Joseph will have a return here. Comes near side. Flag down. Joseph gets brought down at the 44.
Lots of flags.
Check with referee Gary Patterson and our ACC crew.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the return team. Holding return team, that penalty's declined. Illegal block in the back. Return team, that penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
You know, throughout these first 2.5 games of this season, Coach Cristobal.
Number 16 went block in the back. Number 16, illegal block in the back.
One of the things he hasn't been very pleased about were penalties. And I think he's going to have to go back to the drawing board this upcoming week and look back at some of the calls in this game. But Miami's up 38-0.
Miami has the ball back. We're going to see Emory Williams at quarterback, but let's take a look at what Cam Ward has done today. Not one, not two, not three or four, but 5 touchdowns through the air, 346 yards on the day. It has been another Heisman caliber performance for this quarterback, Cam Ward.
And you see the new quarterback, number 17 in orange, Emory Williams, a 6'5", 220 sophomore. Those 5 touchdown passes you just saw ties a program record here at Miami.
We saw him start 2 games a season ago. 470 yards, 3 touchdowns in those 2 starts.
Williams throwing on 2nd down and throws a strike. And that's going to move the sticks. Found his tight end, Cam McCormick, in his 9th season of college football. The tight end. Here's a look at Emory Williams. Got a little bit of playing time last season, a couple of starts even.
Well, you saw it there in the first play. He's got a live arm. He's able to make a lot of throws. He's a true sophomore out of Milton High School in Florida.
Lyle stays on his feet despite a low tackle effort and got 9 good yards. You got Martinez and Fletcher, 2 big backs. You got Lyle, who's a little bit more dynamic. I got Chris Johnson, who's similar, and A.J. Allen, a former 4-star high school athlete who we haven't even seen yet today.
How about that backfield?
They've got a backfield room that can supply a lot of support for Cam Ward and company. Williams to throw. Has Horton. Now he fumbles the football. And Miami was able to fall on it to keep possession and a 1st down.
Yeah, Isaiah Horton just loses the football. He's able to fall back on it.
Looked like Blair Schonhorst forced the fumble. Horton was able to fall on his own fumble, though, to prevent the turnover. 1st and 10. Johnson tackled for a loss. Coley, what's going on?
Well, Chris, I've got a couple of injury updates for Miami. I'm told that right guard Inez Cooper is officially out for the game. He has what Miami is calling a lower extremity injury. Also, receiver Jacoby George was just taken to the locker room where he's being evaluated. We saw athletic trainers looking at the lower part of his left leg there in the 1st quarter. We also were starting to see the backups on the field, as you just alluded to, so that's probably part of what we're seeing with these 2 injuries.
Yeah, appreciate that, Coley. George has had a big game, and to what Coley was mentioning, he was banged up early in this one, so no need to test it. Johnson, nice move. Another one to stay alive. Finally forced out of bounds inside the 40.
Number 12, Ball State, helmet off. Number 12, Ball State, helmet come off. 42nd, 42nd.
Yeah, besides Cam Ward, really the whole starting offense for Miami is still out on the field. And so it's really good reps for Emory Williams. Being able to play with the ones right now, moving the ball downfield. This is a big 3rd down for him personally. See if he can pick this up.
Williams 3 for 3 on his 1st drive of the game. Fires it in there. Brown makes the catch. He's right at the stick. I think he's going to be just a little shy. Maybe a foot shy. Jalen Jones did a nice job of riding into the ground.
And Elijah Davis from the free safety spot does a good job of stopping the forward progress right before the yard to gain marker. This is go for it territory for Mario Cristobal, and he's going to keep his offense on the field. See how his sophomore quarterback handles 4th down.
They pick it up. That's Jordan Lyle. He gets almost 5 yards on 4th down. They'll move the chains. You made that point, Mark. Even though they've taken Jacoby George out, Restrepo, Sam Brown, Isaiah Horton, all still in the game.
Yep.
To help out this quarterback, Emory Williams.
And the offensive front is all intact as well.
Now Williams is in motion. Check that. That's Johnson, rather. Inside the 20. They'll move the sticks once again.
Yeah, that's where we've seen the discrepancy in talent today. It's when you've seen Miami playmakers get the ball in space and just they're able to pick up a lot of yards against this defense. The defensive front seven for Ball State has been tough to move the ball on all day. It's been the outside guys that haven't been as short tackling.
Johnson bounces it outside, loses his footing, is tripped up. As he picked up about 4 or 5. Keontae Newsome. Haven't mentioned Keontae Newsome's name very often today, but he does make the tackle there.
Ball State player number 9.
And he's shaking up a little bit on the play.
Immediate timeout.
We'll check in on Keontae Newsome when we come back. 38-0. Miami on top.
Please reset the play clock to 40 seconds. Please reset the play clock to 40 seconds. Thank you.
Our next ACC Network women's volleyball match is a grudge match, and it features the #1 team in the country, the Pitt Panthers, and Penn State at the Peterson Events Center. Sellout of 12,000 plus is expected. The crowd's going to be rocking. Coverage begins Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern. No love lost between those two schools. 11th play on this drive for Miami. Start at their own 23. And so Emory Williams has come in and led a really nice drive down the field. Can this Hurricane offense finish it off? Brown in motion. Williams to throw. He's looking that way. Finds Brown. He drops it.
Man, it's the second drop from Sam Brown Jr. tonight. We've seen a couple drops. We've seen a couple errant throws. I mean, this ball has got to be slick. You know, it's been raining for hours before we get on the field. The humidity level is at like 100 million%.
It's also got to be caught.
That's so true.
It's right on the money.
It's also got to be caught, yeah.
3rd down and 7. Williams to throw. Over the middle. Horton does catch that one, but he's tackled right at the spot, and it'll be well shy of the first down. So Borregales will come in to attempt the field goal.
Pretty good drive by Emory Williams in this offense. He did miss Elijah Lofton, the true freshman tight end. He was open on that play. Ran a mesh route. A good drive. Chewing up 6 minutes on the clock.
And Borregales will look to hit from 32. And he does. Applause from their head coach, Mario Cristobal. Canes up 41-0. Up with the U for the fans here in Miami Gardens. 41-0 Miami on top. These fans waited out that weather delay for 2.5 hours, and they have been rewarded by an outstanding performance by their Canes, both offensively from Cam Ward, who's no longer in the game, and defensively, Canes defense pitching a shutout. Malcolm Gilley to receive this kick from Borregales, and he'll call a fair catch. In the end zone, games earlier today in the ACC marked some very interesting outcomes. First and foremost, the one that jumps out at you more than anything is Memphis on the road in Tallahassee beating Florida State. Yeah,
Florida State just could not move the football. They only had 37 rushing yards on the entire day, and DJ Uiagalelei was held scoreless, was not able to have a touchdown pass. The lone touchdown was Rodell Williams rushing the football, but basically Florida State is a mess. I mean, you lose the first two to ACC opponents, and you lose this one to Memphis. I mean, your season is, I mean, it's going to be hard to resurrect it. 0-3 on the year, and when you think about, too,
the big three here in Florida. Florida's off to a rough start as well.
Yep. I mean, here it is.
And then Miami is crushing it.
We're watching it right now. And, last year, Florida State, they were the ones. This year, there's an early test, right? Early, who's going to be the better Florida team, Florida or Florida State? Well, it obviously hasn't been Florida. It hasn't been Florida State. It's Miami.
And Miami with that early season signature win for the program to go into Gainesville and hammer Florida to start the season.
And how big is that? I mean, for your confidence as a player, right? A lot of hype around the offseason, a lot of talk around your quarterback coming in, big transfers coming in. You felt like you should have been better than you were last year. You lose that game to Georgia Tech. Everybody's talking bad about you last year. And you get the test week 1. Hey, how are we going to do against Florida, an SEC team down at the Swamp? And they played really, really good football, and Cam Ward shined. And I mean, I think that was the confidence boost that this team needed, and they have not slowed down since.
First down for Simonza and Ball State. Good looking play there as Simonza rolls to his right. Hits his tight end, Christian Abney. Another first down. Might be looking at the best team in the ACC in Miami. Certainly the early indication would be such that it very well could be Miami. How about this Ball State team? So much is unknown about the MAC because so many players transfer out of some of the top teams in that league, so you don't really know. We had Ohio the first game of the year at Syracuse. They acquitted themselves very well. They're going to be a team that needs to be reckoned with, and I like Caden Simonza. He's running into a buzzsaw with this Miami defense, but I like the way he handles himself out there.
Yeah, I do too, and I like the way that their offensive line has been able to run the football, especially early in this game. They got worn out in this second half, but really in that opening first quarter and a half, Miami wasn't able to get to the quarterback. They were getting some progress, moving the ball, had a bunch of 3-and-outs, but I do think there's some bright spots for this Ball State team, but Miami is far superior, especially tonight.
Bringing some pressure, the Canes, they're going to get there on the edge. Another sack. That's Malik Bryant. And we keep mentioning new names on this defensive front, Mark. They have so much depth.
And a great pass rush move. And Malik Bryant was one of those really high recruits in last year's class. Came in as a true freshman. He played some for them. He's in his true sophomore year out of Orlando, Florida. And so much of what Mario Cristobal wants to do is win Florida. Win Florida. Malik Bryant's another product of winning Florida.
Third and long. Simonza throws. And it's incomplete. Pass broken up by Darryl Porter Jr. And Miami will force yet another punt. We talked to Cristobal. You bring that up about winning Florida. And Schnellenberger, when Howard Schnellenberger first came to Miami, he said, we're going to rope off the state of Miami and South Florida. We're going to own recruiting in South Florida. And I think nobody knows more about that than Cristobal, who went to high school at Columbus High School here in Miami, homegrown guy. But he also was an assistant at Alabama, was a head coach at Oregon, and he understands even then, back in those days, you had players like Vinny Testaverde from New York.
Yeah.
So you can still recruit nationally to back up the players you have locally. Whitfield just did Ray Joseph in, and that flag too may have been a part of it.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 41 return team, half the distance to the goal, first down Miami.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal is not going to be happy with all the flags he's seen on the field today. That's something he talked about this week that they've got to clean up. Yeah. 7th penalty.
I think it's really good by this return team. Watch this block. Great block, high screen. You get your body in front of him, make him fall his back. Another one. Watch number 9. Good high screen. And then number 41. No. It's like you see two perfect ones. Like teach tape.
They were all teach tape.
They were all
textbook
just a
right.
Different type of team.
Textbook right. Textbook wrong.
That was a great angle of 2 what to do's and one what not to do.
So the sophomore Emory Williams in for his second drive. He was 6 for 7 for 43 yards last time out, driving the Canes down for a field goal. They give to A.J. Allen. Spins his way, still free, and bounces it outside. Now gets a block to the 30. Has a convoy in front of him and chooses to deliver a little bit of a blow to a defensive back for 33 yards after the fact. Elijah Davis brought him down, but Miami.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Promising run to end that. Now putting 40 on the board routinely. Schedule does get a little bit tougher. We'll go over that in a little bit. But the Canes starting to run the football. Really nice move by A.J. Allen. Now he shows the speed down the sideline. He'll score.
Well, A.J. Allen transferred here to the U after being at Nebraska in 2022. Started 1 game last year. He played sparingly, but they really felt like he could be another depth piece at this running back position. And he seems to be one of the more shifty backs in that room. We have Damian Martinez, who's 6 foot 230. Mark Fletcher, 6'2", 225, and A.J. Allen's a little shiftier.
2 carries and 90 yards for Allen on that drive. That's a good day's work right there. Abram Murray for the point after. And the Canes continue to roll.
You see him right here. Ooh.
Oh, that's a great move. Nice block on the outside by the freshman JoJo Trader, too.
Yeah, he sets up the leverage and uses that speed, bursts all the way down the field.
And the run game that wasn't working in the first half. We're picking up some big chunk runs here in the second half. The Canes now have 175 yards on the ground.
Yeah, see Cam Ward, number 1 there, talking to A.J. Allen. But Cam Ward's not sitting on the bench. Like, how many times have we seen quarterbacks? You're up 41-0. Your job is done. You're over there goofing around with the wide receivers or running backs on the bench. Got a towel around your neck. Not Cam Ward. He's out there coaching. I mean, his brain has not stopped. He's thinking football the entire time. And you know, really, talking to Cristobal, he said it's like having another coach on the field. I mean, he is that smart, has seen that much football, has played that much ball. He can have a lot of insight in this game.
Gilly on the return, hit hard at the 26. Good look at Cam Ward. And the accolades just continue to flow for Cam Ward.
I mean, he was the ACC preseason player of the year before playing a snap in the ACC. And I think he's showing you why.
Yeah. Total yards, passing yards, every number in this game. Canes dwarfing the Cardinals. New quarterback for Ball State is Aiden Leffler. Coley, what do you got for us?
You guys were just talking about Cam Ward, Miami quarterback, and something that we learned this week in talking with a lot of the Miami coaches is the fact that he is at the facility early every day. In fact, Ward is typically at the team facility at 5:30 in the morning every day, breaking down film with offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson. And that is something that actually came from a conversation with Ray Lewis this summer. The Miami quarterback was told by Ray that the thing that really makes a great player different from a good player is all the film that a great player watches. And so it sounds as if he listened to Ray.
Defense continuing to be stout at the point of attack. Christian Davis doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Anthony Campbell on the tackle, big number 93. There's Ray Lewis.
Yeah, he came in this summer and You know, Mario Cristobal brought a bunch of these guys back, these old Miami legends, and had them talk to the team. And it was funny. They weren't talking about, hey, you need to do this on the field, you need to do this. They just talked about culture, about buying in as teammates, as doing it together. And obviously Ray Lewis, one of the best football players to ever play the game at any position. You got to imagine their ears were locked in when he was speaking.
3rd and long. Leffler throws. That ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage again. Campbell showing the depth of this defensive front for Miami. Better days are ahead for Ball State. They'll jump into MAC play with Central Michigan next week on the road. Ray Joseph giving that secondary jersey a workout. He's number 5 normally, but on special teams he's got to wear 35. That odd jersey. Good punt from Cooey. Ray from his 31. Stays on his feet. Good return out to the 43. Canes lead by 48 here in the 4th. Cane fans loving it today. Why not? 48-0. Miami on top. 13 minutes left to go in this one. Get a chance to see some backups getting some significant playing time today. A.J. Allen making the most of his opportunity. 90 yards rushing and a touchdown on that last drive alone. This is a good pitch here. It looks like the freshman. JoJo Trader on the receiving end. 15 yards. Take a look at some of the notable ACC quarterback transfers this season. Obviously Cam Ward and Kyle McCord has got off to a great start at Syracuse as well. But elsewhere it's been a little bit of a mixed bag, Mark. Yeah, it has. Well, DJ Uyunglele, you're probably one of the most notable transfers who has not performed well at all this year. Grayson McCall, we saw him get hurt, but Eli Holstein, you know, last week he really struggled in the first 3 quarters. He picked it up in the 4th quarter. He had a phenomenal day in the 38-34 win over West Virginia. The backyard brawl. Yeah, he had 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns.
He was completing 70% of his passes. He had a really good day.
The injury bug, too. I mean, Grayson McCall got hurt today. C.J. Bailey came in the second half and guided them to a win, and they absolutely needed a win today at home against Louisiana Tech after what happened last week against Tennessee. So tip your cap to C.J. Bailey. That's a difficult thing to do when you're losing at home to an underdog, and your starting quarterback gets hurt, and the coach turns to you and say, in the middle of the game, it's up to you now, and you come in and perform like he did. Kudos. Williams going deep, has a receiver, that's 6. Elijah Lofton, the freshman, 40 yards for the touchdown.
What a throw by Emory Williams. He had Elijah Lofton down the sideline, but a really well-placed football allowing him to run underneath it. And the big 6'3", 230-pound freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada has his first career touchdown as a Miami Hurricane.
Lofton, 230 pounds on the outside like that, running like that. Came from Bishop Gorman, football powerhouse in Las Vegas. That was impressive all around, Mark.
Yeah, he was a big recruit too. He was played in that Under Armour All-American game. He's going to be the future at that tight end position.
Murray on the PAT, take another look.
Yeah, and he comes in motion, and you just know right there. I mean, you know, you can't go under those routes as a coverage guy. And a really good throw by Emory Williams. He knows it. He said, I can shoot some arrows too.
There you see the number 15 rated tight end in the 2024 class. So we've seen freshmen on the offensive end. Jordan Lyle at tailback. JoJo Trader at receiver. Now Elijah Lofton at tight end. On the defensive end, Cam Pruitt. You saw Zaquan Patterson at safety, O.J. Frederick at cornerback. So with all the influx of talent from the transfer portal, we're seeing it from the true freshmen getting playing time and their talent in this class. Coley, what's going on?
Guys, I want to talk real quick about the Miami defense. You noted there in the third quarter at one point, Chris, that it just seems like they are still playing so relentlessly, getting after Ball State's quarterbacks, right, just getting into the backfield relentlessly. And it reminds me of something that Mario Cristobal, the head coach, told me at halftime. He said, look, the line of scrimmage has just been different in this game. The mindset has been different. We're more on point. We're playing a lot better at the point of contact. So he's seeing things that he really wanted to get out of his defense today.
Yeah, and 2 and 3 deep, Coley. We're talking about guys like Anthony Campbell, number 93, who's playing great in this fourth quarter. He's 4th string defensive tackle.
Yeah. They've been playing well, and everybody's been playing well. And you know, when Elijah Lofton caught that last pass, it just reminded me of last season and the lack of production from tight ends all year. I mean, the tight end room at Miami only had 154 receiving yards and 1 touchdown in the entire 2023 season. They have been phenomenal so far in this 2024 season, and it allows Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, to open up so much more of the package, having tight ends who are performing as they are.
Keon Magwood on the receiving end. Again, Aiden Leffler in a quarterback on this drive for Ball State. Jalen Alderman on the tackle. There's another player transferred in from Louisville. Jalen Alderman, we're familiar with him. We saw him over the years playing for the Louisville Cardinals. Redshirt junior out of Valdosta, Georgia.
Remember that back in 2021, he had that pick 6 against UCF to close out that game. That was like massive game-winning play by Jaden Alderman.
Leffler backtracking, just has to chuck this one into the dirt. Still got dumped for his troubles. It'll bring up 4th and 9. Ball State forced to punt once again from deep in its own territory.
There's Mike New. It's kind of fun. Two head coaches coaching their alma maters.
Yeah.
Here we've already called a Georgia Tech game with Brent Pry at this helm, and it's kind of cool, right? When guys go out and have success coaching other places, and then they say, "Hey, I'm going to come back to my school." There's a different feeling amongst the fan base as well.
And they both had a lot of success as players when they were at their schools. Mike New won a MAC championship as the quarterback back in the early 90s, and a similar time frame when you had Mario Cristobal as great offensive lineman here, won 2 national championships with Dennis Erickson. Those great teams, 89 and 92. Ray calls a fair catch. Now he's going to field it on the bounce. And the Canes take over from there. It has turned into a gorgeous night here in Miami, especially if you're a Canes fan.
The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN. That's how I get by. The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN. That's how I get by.
Well, we don't have a playoff ranking yet. We won't have that for several weeks, but we do have an AP Top 10. Take a look at what's going on. Kentucky. What is Kentucky all about? They got wrecked last week at home against South Carolina, and now they're holding Georgia scoreless in the second quarter.
Yeah, well, they've possessed the ball a lot, and Georgia has not converted on third down so far in this game. So they're going to need to start converting on some of these third downs in order to show their dominance as the #1 team in the country.
That is now 9-0 Kentucky on top of Georgia. So we'll keep an eye on that one. We'll keep an eye on how these players here at Miami finish up this game. More Jordan Lyle. So he had another true freshman we got to see a little bit of earlier, getting to see more of 21 in orange. At a powerhouse St. Thomas Aquinas up the road here in Fort Lauderdale.
That's what we're talking about, right? You keep guys around here, coming here. You got Jordan Lyle. You're talking about St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, you're not going to Ohio State or anything like that. You're staying here.
And you're winning guys from Chaminade, Madonna too. I mean, that's huge. Zaquan Patterson, defensive back, is here. O.J. Frederick is also from St. Thomas Aquinas. You got Armando Blunt from Miami Central. I mean,
yes, sir.
You're looking at guys from these power schools that are coming to Miami, and they're true freshmen and they're playing.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You're earning playing time on this roster as deep as it is. That just gets significantly deeper with these last couple of off seasons in the transfer portal. You mentioned it earlier, Mark. It seemed like last year they really bolstered the offensive line in the transfer portal, picked up another couple of guys this year. But then this year they went out and really strengthened that defensive front in the transfer portal, and we're seeing the fruits of that hard work in the offseason paying off today. Yeah, totally. And Simeon Barrow came from Michigan State. He was a big pickup. 6'3", 290-pound fifth-year senior. That's another thing, too. You're getting some of these fifth-year guys that you don't have to teach them football. They already know football. You just have to teach them the scheme. So, Barrow comes in. Alston comes in from Marshall. Oh! That was a dangerous pass, but it worked for Williams. And it'll be a big-time pickup as Ray Joseph switches jersey back to his typical number 5 and says, yeah, it was just that close from breaking it. Yeah, if you include the addition of Tyler Barron, you got 4 fifth-year seniors starting on your defensive line. 3 of them transferred in this year. 1 of them transferred in before, and Keem Mesidor, he's been here for a couple years already. You got vets up there, and those vets are teaching some of these young recruits how to play football, building the next crop of great young pass rushers. Now Miami's getting the running game going. This defensive front for Ball State is just worn out. And watch Jordan Lyle on this play. Watch how he keeps his shoulders square to the right line of scrimmage. Look at that. You can see 2 and 1 the entire time. And that allows him to keep his eyes downfield. He's not turning. He's not running. He's able to avoid the tacklers and pick up positive yardage on what should have been a broken play. 180 yards rushing in the second half, just 22 for the Canes in the first half. Lyle, straight up the middle, powering his way inside the 10. Pyle still moving. First and goal for the Canes. This should work that clock, under 7 minutes remaining. Miami's at South Florida next week. And then they begin ACC play. Virginia Tech at home, at Cal, and at Louisville before Florida State here. So those are 2 interesting road trips. Cal just beat Auburn. So you know what they can do. And I know your favorite linebacker in the ACC might be playing for Cal. Oh, yeah, but that's a long trip. Oh, going out to the Bay Area. And that defense for Cal, through the first 2 games, they have played hard. And they got a win against Auburn. That's a team that not a lot of people are talking about because they're maybe one of the newcomers to the ACC, but you better watch out for Cal. Better watch out for Jordan Lyle. He's got many years to come in a Canes uniform. And the true freshman just powers his way into the end zone. In this offensive line right now is all the backups, but they're getting great movement. On the offensive front, you see a great double team by the true freshman center, Nino Francavilla. Another one of the true freshmen. This guy's from Toronto, though. He's not from Miami. Right, Nino Francavilla from Toronto. I always wonder at what point in time did he stop playing hockey? Yeah. At what point in time was 6'3", 295 just too big? Yeah, that one extra trip to Mickey D's. He said, got to hang up the skates. And play football down to Miami and pave the way for this man right here. All Canes. Look at that crew right there. As soon as the Maryland-Virginia game comes to its conclusion, the ACC huddle will take over from Charlottesville at approximately 11 o'clock tonight. They will recap all of those games that we just showed you on the scoreboard, our game as well, and many more. So tune in on the ACC network at about 11 o'clock. Lot to cover today, including what you saw here today in Miami. Backyard brawl, Florida State's loss. McCall hurt at NC State. We don't even know what's going to happen with that game at Virginia, Maryland, and Virginia. That game's over on the ACC network right now. Take a look at Miami's schedule coming up. We talked a little bit about it, but it bears repeating. At South Florida next. You know, Miami's just rolling. Got to watch out for them because South Florida is going to have, you know, this is the one they've got circled.
Yep.
But then ACC play. Virginia Tech at home, dangerous. At Cal and at Louisville, tough road trip before back home here with Florida State.
Yeah, they got that Virginia Tech game on a Friday night, which is kind of nice because you have an extra day on that long trip out to Cal.
Yeah, no question about it. At Georgia Tech late, and then they finish at Syracuse. That could be interesting as well. Ball State, Charlie Spiegel, former Mr. Football in the state of Indiana in high school, getting the carry.
How about that game? With the way Syracuse has been playing and the way Miami's been playing, I mean, that would be...
There could be fireworks indoors up there in the Dome, no question about it.
The amount of points that could score in that game.
Spiegel again, right in the middle of that Miami defense. Look at the effort. Aguirre on the tackle. Spiegel picks up. Those are 2 tough yards. There's a look at Spiegel. 5'10", 221. Began his college career at Indiana before transferring to Ball State, located in Muncie, Indiana, just a little ways to the northeast of Indianapolis, about an hour outside of Indianapolis. Spiegel met in the backfield and dropped.
Wow.
Bobby Washington, the linebacker. Bobby Washington kicking it old school with the half shirt and the back pad on the back of the shoulder pad.
You like that play? As did I. Good play.
Forcing yet another punt from Brian Cooey. Cooey is getting some work today. Good kick. Forcing Ray Joseph to call for a fair catch at his own 22. Let's see what else is going on around the rest of the conference. Showed you some of the scores from earlier games today. Duke and UConn in a good one. Duke trying to outlast the Huskies. North Carolina, no problem. Virginia Tech, no problem with Old Dominion. Ole Miss is a juggernaut right now on offense. And then just underway, Virginia with the early lead over Maryland. That's a good game when you think about Big Ten, ACC. And Cal's going to have a test with San Diego State as well. Late 10:30 kick on ESPN. It's another one of the great things about these teams in conference. Stanford and Cal. They'll be in that 10:30 window a lot on ESPN on Saturday nights.
It's always nice to be able to go back to the hotel room after a game like this.
Holding, number 5, offense, 10-yard penalty.
Or if you're
repeat first down.
Pop on some ACC football.
Or if you're a gambling degenerate and you don't want to go to the tables, maybe it's a little bit too late. Maybe you put down a wager on the late game. That was always the thing. It was like, God, I got to get right. Who's Hawaii playing?
I feel like you're speaking out of experience there, Chris.
I've seen it. I've heard about it.
Oh, you've heard it? Okay.
Oh, they got San Jose State. They're a 3-point dog at home. I like that one.
Oh, boy.
The penalties will be the one thing that I think Coach Cristobal will circle and say in a 62-0 game, got to clean those up. If you remember in the first half, Mark, there were a couple of drives that Cam Ward and company were able to overcome penalties.
Yeah.
But they had a long touchdown pass called back. They had several issues where they were 2nd and 25 or 3rd and 20, and they were able to convert. But that's not always going to be the case when you back yourself up and put yourself in trouble. 8 penalties for 85 yards on the day.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that. You want to play clean football. Yeah, I think that you're right. If there's one thing that you want to work on, you say, okay, what happened to our run game in the first half? We weren't able to get any movement. We should have gotten plenty of movement on Ball State. We weren't able to. You want to fix that. You want to fix the penalties. And then you have a sit-down conversation with Cam Ward and say, hey, some of those passes that you weren't accurate on, what was it, right? Was it the ball? Was it the routes? Because even those times right now, like those things could be turned into interceptions versus better competition. Cam Ward had a
Timeout,
phenomenal
injured
day.
Ball State player.
Injured player for Ball State. Trying to find a number. It might be Jackson Weagold, 18.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Maybe a cramp on that right calf.
And it is humid out here.
And it has been hot and humid all day. Dangerous heat index is well over 100 earlier in the day. Now the rain cooled things down a little bit this afternoon, but that humidity is still way up there. What's going on, Coley? I'm sure you can add on the humidity here down.
Oh, yeah. You guys have been talking all day about it, and I've been wanting to jump in. I have been sweating and drenched all day. I will say that it has gotten a lot cooler as nightfall has set in here at Hard Rock Stadium, so I'm actually not feeling too bad right now. But I was definitely a little shiny all throughout the first half, the first 3 quarters. I will add, too, I actually went for a run this morning.
See. Hold on. Let me see that head. We got
you got a camera on me? Where are we? Where are we?
Oh, look, so those beads, the beads of water are no longer on your head. Now
they're no longer there. Now, right? Now we're looking pretty good. I went for a run this morning, and it was one of the hottest, most humid runs I've ever been in. And I looked at the field temperature, the real field later. It was 96 degrees while I was running. I thought it was a little bit less than that, but you know that's what happens when you're intense. Speaking of water, there's some moisture that's falling on the defensive linemen right now.
Oh yeah,
off those tarps that they've got above them.
Chris, were you out there running with Coley
No.
this morning?
Again, it's running. It's not really my forte.
Yeah.
Whether it's hot or cold, or it could be a beautiful day, I'm not really doing much running. Williams to throw, has a receiver, lays a beautiful pass into Ball State territory, right into the waiting arms of Ray Joseph. 34 yards. We're seeing a nice touch from Emory Williams.
Yeah, Ray Joseph, and also has had a phenomenal game returning the punts and returning kicks. And now he's getting his opportunity on offense. Good job locating the football. Another nice deep ball by Emory Williams.
2-minute timeout.
And we've reached the 2-minute timeout here in South Florida. All Canes, 62-0. Here's an event you don't want to miss. Women's volleyball Wednesday at 7 o'clock on the ACC network. #1 in the country, Pitt, welcoming #3 and their hated rivals, Penn State, to the Peterson Event Center. Sellout crowd of 12,000 is expected. And that's going to be pretty cool in the middle of the week before another week of football comes on the weekend. Miami will be at South Florida. Ball State will open up action against Central Michigan, Chippewas. Miami 735 total yards today. That's a new program record. This offense is just humming right along, and the depth on both sides of the football for that man right there, very impressive. The tests will get stiffer as the season progresses, but so far so good for the Canes.
735 yards. That is out of control. And they've only given up 115 total yards.
And a lot of players have participated, including this man right here. Look at him lower the shoulder.
Gosh.
And bowl over defenseman A.J. Allen.
This might boost Miami up in the defensive rush rankings, as they've only given up 6 yards on the ground all game. Look at their ability to score points.
Allen has just gone over 100 yards on just 7 carries. One more snap. Give to Chris Johnson. He bounces it outside. One more snap as he runs out of bounds.
Can we say it now? Can we say that Miami doesn't like to take knees? I don't know. It's like, end of the first half, they didn't take a knee. They handed the ball off.
It is true. They want to run out that clock, literally.
They don't like it.
Johnson again in the backfield. He'll get the carry. He'll pick up a yard, and that should do it. Another impressive day for Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes as he meets Coach New in midfield. 62-0. Shutout win for the defense.